All righty. Well, we're gonna stick to the '60s for a second because one of my favorite rom-coms, because you could play them out by decade if you will. Like there's some good ones in like the '60s. There's not too many in the '70s, but there's some you can think of. The '80s had a lot, the '90s had a lot, but as far as the '60s go, I'm talking about Breakfast at Tiffany's. Have you guys
I've heard of that one.
have you heard of this movie?
Oh, I know. I saw that one.
Yeah. This
With
is
Audrey Hepburn.
Add another one to the list.
with Audrey Hepburn. She's incredible too. I mean, but this is one of the earliest I could think of, aside from The Apartment, as you just mentioned. This is one of the ones that I personally could have. I think of when I think of like a two lead actor and a lead female actor, um, like going about their business in like a comedic, romantic way. I actually think of Breakfast at Tiffany's, believe it or not, because I mean, partly because of old taste. Forgive me, everyone. You all know that. But,
Yeah, it's old, dude.
I mean, the Beatles. What? Anyways, the Rolling Stones. What are you talking about? Anyways, the Breakfast at Tiffany's is a great movie for Valentine's Day because it's something a little bit outside the box. It's something a little bit like, okay, we're gonna watch. Like if you're listening to us right now or watching us right now, whatever you are, and you're saying to yourself, okay, what other besides Crazy Stupid Love or Valentine's Day from 2010, aside from those types of rom-coms, if you want to go back and listen to if you want to go back and watch a really good romantic comedy, Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn is genius. It is. I mean, you might not get a lot of the jokes because it's that old of a movie from 1961, but it's still a very classic romantic comedy of its time. It is one of those movies you're like, oh wow, I'm watching this good old Audrey Hepburn and George Papard in Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it's a really great older romantic comedy if you were to watch it on Valentine's Day this year in 2023. So just a little bit outside of the box choice, but this is one that I wanted to pick because it's definitely something that really holds up. I've only seen it a couple of times, truthfully, but it's a really great, funny, fun '60s, early '60s especially, type of romantic comedy. So it's really, really, really good. You guys have heard of this though, right?
Yeah, I've actually seen it, and the funny thing is that where I work, the people that I work with, they actually talk about this a lot.
Okay.
I work with the elderly people.
That's right. Yep.
We play a game called I can't remember what the game is, but there's like it looks like bingo, but instead of like numbers, it's celebrity faces. Oh, guess the celebrity name. That's what it's called. And every time I bring up Audrey Hepburn or her sister, they always talk about this movie. Always talk about this movie.
Awesome. But you've seen it though, right? John hasn't?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's really good.
John, she's 2-for-0 right now. Sorry, buddy. Listen, listen. For those who are listening to this, John and I have known each other a really long time. But John, you might want to step up your game with Lady and the Tramp and Breakfast at Tiffany's, buddy. Just let you know. Just want to put that out there, pal.
Why are you like that?
You got your fiance right next to you. You can totally watch it. And plus it might be on streaming for all you know. I'm not sure where, but I'm sure you can find it.
It probably is somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. And it was so, I don't know. I could talk about it for a little while, truthfully. So, and somewhere out there, my grandmother and grandfather were like, yeah, this is a good movie too. Even if they're not watching it, they're like, all right, that's Breakfast at Tiffany's. Can't beat that. But yeah, Breakfast at Tiffany's is my next pick.